Father Chiranjeevi and Reverend Father Anand, Assistant Directors of Elliot, Dr. O. Mahesh, Principal, respected resource person Mr. Sai Satish, Founder and CEO of IndianServers Vijayawada, Dr. C.H. Rajendra Babu, Head of the Department of CSE, Mr. S. Kishore Babu, HOD of IT Department, faculty members and student participants. Fine morning to you all. I, Sirisha, Assistant Professor from the Department of CSE, extend a very warm welcome to all of you present here. It's indeed a matter of great honor for me to welcome all of you to this two-day online workshop on deep learning organized by the Department of Computer Science Engineering and Information Technology of Andhra Loyola Institute of Engineering and Technology together in association with IndianServers. I feel it's an opportune time to renew our thoughts in order to work with deep learning and its applications. Let's start the most awaited session of the day. First, let me give a brief introduction about our college. Andhra Loyola Institute of Engineering and Technology is managed and administered by the members of Society of Jesus, also known as Jesuits, belonging to Jesuit Province Society, Hyderabad, covering both the states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Elliot was established in the year 2008. The institution, recognized by the government of Andhra Pradesh and affiliated to JNTU Kakinada, was approved by AICTE New Delhi on 4th June 2008. Elliot is a sister institution of Andhra Loyola College, ALC Vijayawada, a well-reputed autonomous college started in 1953 and awarded the status College with Potential for Excellence by UGC. Both these institutions, situated in the same 98-acre campus, are registered under Loyola College Society, Guntur, Vijayawada. Elliot began with 4 BTech courses in Electrical and Electronics Engineering, EEE, Electronics and Communications Engineering, ECE, Computer Science Engineering, CSE, and Information Technology, IT. In 2009, a PG course in Master of Business Administration, MBA, was introduced, followed by BTech courses in Mechanical Engineering and Civil Engineering in the years 2010 and 13, respectively. 2 MTech courses in Electronics and Communication Engineering and Computer Science Engineering are being offered from 2012 onwards. The main goals of the college include promoting innovation, entrepreneur capabilities, culture of the quality, social responsibility, spirit of innovation, and compassion. The college has been administered by renowned Jesuit educationalists like Reverend Father Dr. A. Francis Xavier S.J., Director, Father J. Chiranjeevi S.J., Assistant Director, Father M. Anand S.J., Assistant Director, and Dr. O. Mahesh, Principal. Now, it gives me a great pleasure to invite Reverend Father Dr. Francis Xavier S.J., Director of Elliot, and I request Father to give his valuable message.
Good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Morning, Father. Audible.
I'm not unmuted. I'm muted.
Further, it is unmuted further, and please turn on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Good morning. It gives me a great pleasure. We are all facing a lot of challenges during this COVID season, but then human spirit has no way of being curtailed by anything. That is the beauty of human spirit. In spite of all these challenges, still institutions are able to cater to the needs of the student community as well as to the teaching community. And today's effort certainly is a witness to this spirit of adventure in spite of facing difficulties and challenges in life. Therefore, I congratulate the departments of Computer Science and Engineering and also the Information Technology Department in collaboration with IndianServers for organizing such a beautiful event today. And I hope that the effort by Indian servers and also the departments of Elliott will bear much fruit for the growth and the increase in knowledge of the students. With these words, I invoke God's blessings on all the organizers and also on the participants so that altogether we will grow in knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. Thank you for your inspiring and enlightening words. Now, I would take this opportunity to invite Dr. O. Mahesh, Principal of Elliott, and I request Sir to speak a few words.
Reverend Father Francis Xavier, Director of this institute, Reverend Father Chiranjeevi, and Reverend Father Anand, Assistant Directors, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, HOD of CSE Department, Mr. Kishore Babu, HOD of IT Department, and a team from Indian Servers, students of different colleges. Good morning to everyone. So I would like to congratulate Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Mr. Kishore Babu, and their teams for taking initiative to organize this event. So this is a today's workshop on deep learning. As you all are aware of, machine learning and artificial intelligence is getting deeper into different streams. It is spreading its wings, okay, not only in manufacturing, in business and various operations. And by having exposure to this type of newly emerging technology, the students will be increasing their opportunities for getting the jobs. And also today the technology is growing in such a way that without financial investment, one can start their own enterprise. So the knowledge which you can gain by learning this type of courses will also help you to solve some of the societal problems which may take you to become entrepreneurs, or you can also become a potential employee. So I hope all the students who all connected here to learn from this will get benefited, and everyone at the end of the program will be happy and get satisfied. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable words. Now, I would like to invite Dr. C.H. Rajendra Babu, HOD of CSE Department, and I request him to give his wishes to the participants.
Respected Director, Reverend Father Dr. A. Francis Xavier S.J., Reverend Father Chiranjeevi Garu S.J., Reverend Father Anand S.J., our beloved Principal Dr. O. Mahesh, D. Sai Satish, CEO of Indian Servers, and faculty and my dear friends. Good morning to all. I take this an opportunity to welcome you to this two-day workshop on deep learning. It is organized by our departments of CSE and IT of Andhra Loyola Institute of Engineering and Technology, with association with Indian Servers. Coming to the deep learning, so I want to give a brief description about this deep learning and also the real-time examples of this deep learning. For example, if you take the healthcare systems, so in these healthcare systems, how we are using this deep learning means, for example, if you take an image of a rash on our skin, so that we can give the predictions whether there is any need for the person to meet the doctor or not. And also it can be used in the medical imaging. So based on the ECG and based on the MRI or CT scan images, so we can give any analysis for the common man. In such a way, the deep learning can be used. And also, what we are seeing at present days is coming to the entertainment. So in this entertainment, deep learning is used. For example, if you consider Amazon or Netflix or Vivo, they will be giving some recommendations for the users based on their preferences and based on their timeline and based on their history. It is based on all this deep learning. And also another example I want to give. So nowadays they have developed a neural network called LipNet. It is developed by Cisco and Oxford University professors. So what they have given is they are uh, from these silent movies or images, they are going to generate these sounds, and the accuracy of these sounds is 93%. In such a way that there is a lot of scope in this deep learning. So I request all the users and the participants to make use of this and make it a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wishes. It gives me immense pleasure to invite today's resource person, Mr. Sai Satish, young entrepreneur, founder and CEO of IndianServers Vijayawada, and I request him to speak a few words and continue with the session.
Thank you very much, Srisha Madam. Thank you very much, all the directors and principal sir and HOD sir Rajendra sir and all the faculty from Loyola College. Actually, Loyola College generally I use because I am also from Loyola College, not from engineering, from Andhra Loyola College. I am alumni of Loyola. So thank you participants for joining today's session. Today we are going to have different kind of topics and we are going to have a contest also. Today we are going to see the introduction for deep learning and introduction for neural networks. And after that, we are going to learn how to design chatbots using various kinds of Python libraries as well as IBM Watson. Two types of techniques we are going to see, how to develop chatbots. Later, we are going to see how to use OpenCV. OpenCV is I for your computer. Okay, it's one of the fantastic libraries. We are going to see how to use OpenCV. There'll be a contest here. So it's a surprising moment to announce about the contest. So if you can concentrate for next coming 1.5 hour to 2 hours, you're going to be trying on two important concepts. One is chatbot designing. In the description, I have provided small basic information like there is a spreadsheet. Those who are watching in YouTube, you can see the description. There is a spreadsheet. If you open that spreadsheet, there are some tens of chatbots, only 10 or 11 chatbots we have mentioned. You have to design such type of chatbots. This is a small contest. Same way, again, you have to develop some projects using OpenCV. This is not just seeing and leaving session. This is a workshop, right? So workshop means you have to do it. Since we are using YouTube as a platform, we cannot check what you're doing, but we'll give you time for you around 9 to 10 days time. You have to come up with excellent OpenCV projects. So we'll be training you today on how to develop various kinds of OpenCV projects. You know about Angry Birds game, right? What if you really play Angry Birds game with your real-time materials? Take building blocks or some material. If you can play Angry Birds with building blocks or some material with the physical material, and if it reflects on the screen, it will be fantastic, right? Take Sudoku solver. Every day you're seeing various Sudokus in newspapers, right? So how about showing that particular Sudoku image to your camera? Obviously, what if your computer will solve all those stuff in a real time? Real time means it will be fantastic. So we are going to see how to use OpenCV, how to, we have IndianServers team with us now. It's not a single player. It's not what you say, shuttle or badminton. As a single player, I'm not going to do. It's a cricket. I think there are more number of fans for cricket than shuttle or badminton in our country, right? I'm not talking about abroad, but in India, we have more number of fans for cricket than other sports. So here what you have to do is just pay attention for next few minutes. The first, there will be an introduction session about neural networks. Then second session will be on chatbot design, which is a concept of deep learning. Then we're coming to OpenCV. What will be what you can do with OpenCV. N number of things you can do. You're giving just eye to your computer. Your computer can see, your computer can think also. So those concepts will be started in few seconds. It's an Indian servers team now. I'm the openings batman. So now over shifting to Mr. Vishwanath. Vishwanath, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, sir. Hello.
Yeah,
Thank you
Vishwanath,
for
I'm
giving me
making
this
you
opportunity.
co-host.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, please start sharing your screen and please start continue. Just give the
Okay.
introduction about neural networks.
Okay, sir. Hello, guys. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I am Vishwanath Hemant. I am a fresher at IndianServers. So, moving on to my topic here, this is the neural networks. So, neural networks is the base of deep learning. So, we all moved from machine learning to deep learning, right? Because we had certain problems with machine learning, some difficulties, so that we decided to move on to deep learning. So the base of deep learning is neural networks. So what are these neural networks? So these neural networks are rather an application of deep learning. So these are inspired by human brain. We in our human brains have things called neural cells, right? We have neurons. They're connected through axons, and electric signals pass through them. And as they pass, we understand the data. We visualize the things we see. We understand the things we hear. So these neural networks, like any other machine learning algorithm or deep learning algorithm, they take data as an input and they train themselves over time to recognize patterns in the data, and they try to predict the output. Okay. So this is the basic architecture of a neural network. So every neural network contains an input layer and an output layer. And additionally, you may have as many hidden layers as possible. So why I'm calling these hidden layers, you'll understand about this, because in the hidden layers, we don't actually observe what is happening in the hidden layers. We're not actually concerned with it. So that is why we call them hidden layers. And these circles, these are called as neurons, or perceptrons, artificial neurons, whatever you want to call them. So just remember these neurons as a variable that holds a value. Okay, this is a box that holds a value. Okay, and these each layers are connected through these lines called channels, right? So how did this whole concept of neural network came? So scientists, when they did an experiment, they understood they connected brain to a machine, and then when they showed some patterns to that person. So when a person sees, like, let's say, a diagonal line that is inclined towards left side, some parts of the brain are activated, some neurons in the brain are activated. So the same person, when they see a slightly different line, and other parts of the brain are activated. So with this concept, they try to achieve the neural networks. So in the same way, when we pass the input in the input layer, so depending on the input, some neurons in the hidden layers are activated and some neurons are deactivated. So based on that, we'll get output. Okay. I'll show you how to visualize these neural networks also. So before that, little introduction to TensorFlow. So TensorFlow is a open source platform. It was developed by Google. So this is mainly for the applications of neural networks. TensorFlow gives you different libraries and APIs to make it easy to build any neural networks. So it was developed by Google and it was initially released in 2015, and TensorFlow 2.0 was released in 2019. Okay, TensorFlow mainly works in building your tensors and defining the flow of those tensors. Okay, so tensors are the multi-dimensional arrays, or tabular data, whatever you want to call them. Tensors are the things you store your data in. So now let's look at something interesting. So this is called playground.tensorflow.org, this website. So this website is for you to visualize different types of neural networks. Okay. So what are the problems that a neural network can solve? It can solve classification or regression problems. So these are just simulations. Okay, this is not you can't pass data into this, but you can pretty much like really understand what's really going on in the neural networks. So these are the two types of problems that a neural network can solve. It's either classification or regression. So we have different types of data sets here. So this one being the most easiest one, you just have to you solve it by drawing a line between them. You discrete both of them, the orange ones and blue data. And this one a little bit harder. You have to draw two lines, and this one's even bit harder. So you have to the neural network has to identify the circle in between, and this one being the most hardest one. Okay, this is a spiral type of data. So this is your playground or TensorFlow website, and there's something called activation function. As I told you, these neural networks are based on human brain. So just as some neurons activate in our brain when we see some patterns, these neural networks also, this activation function also helps the neural network to activate some neurons when it sees certain pattern in the input data. Okay, regularization, you need not worry about regularization. It is something that prevents a thing called overfitting of the data. Okay, and learning rate also, it's not really, you don't have to bother about it right now. You'll understand when you go deep into the neural networks. So these are the hidden layers. You can add as many hidden layers as possible as you can. Okay, the maximum is 6 layers. So in each layer you can add 8 neurons. This is the most the most complex possible neural network with 6 hidden layers and 8 neurons in each. Okay, let's see with the most easiest data set. Okay, I'm just passing two parameters, x1 and x2. So this axis and the values of this and this axis. So let's see if the neural network can predict it. Okay, so when I run it, as you can see, the neural network draws a fine line between the orange ones and the blue ones. If I discretize the output, as you can see, it draws a fine line between the both. So without any hidden layers also, this is it is possible for the neural network to solve this question. So okay, that's so easy. Let's try another one. Okay, let's try a little bit different one, a little difficult one. So when I run it, as you can see, it does not do any good job defining a boundary between them. So let's do it this time. We'll add a hidden layer. Okay, these hidden layers are the ones that recognize the patterns. So initial hidden layers recognize patterns such as straight lines, and as the network goes deeper and deeper, the neural networks, the neurons identify more complex equations. Like this one only identifies linear equations, this one may be quadratic, next one next power. Okay, so like that. If you can see, I listed as the output. So when I hover out to this one, as you can see, you observe in the output screen. Okay, so this neural network, this neuron defines a straight line like this. Okay, and this one it defines a straight line in this way. So when they both combine, it can draw two lines in this cross direction, in a cross way. Okay, so now as you can see, the complexity is not enough. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to add even more neurons. This is all about experimenting, guys. So you experiment with different types of values. You conclude what is best for you. Also, we can do something by changing activation functions. Activation functions are also very important. So as we can see, the activation function ReLU is is better at doing these things. So as you can see, it actually discretized, it separated, they created a boundary between all the 4 types of data. Now let's move on to even more complex one. So as you can see, this line, let's start at single neuron. So you want to define a boundary between all the blue ones and the orange ones. So these are the different types of data. You have to define a boundary between them. You have to separate, classify between them. So can you do it with single line? So as you can see, this one just draws a diagonal line in this direction. Can you do it with a single neuron? No, it just draws a single line. Okay, it's not enough. The complexity is not enough. So what happens if we just add one more neuron? It draws two lines. One, this neuron, this neuron is drawing this line, and that one other line. Okay, these are drawing two lines. Still, it's not enough. Let's increase the complexity even a little bit. Let's add 3 neurons this time. I think 3 lines are enough to make like a triangle or something between them to kind of discretize the output. So since you can see it's doing it, okay, it actually defined a boundary between the orange and the blue ones. It classified the data. So you can add even more complexity also. It just makes the neural network even better. As you can see, the loss is even lower with this thing. Actually, it seems like it will hit 0 loss. Yeah, it's achieving 0 loss, so it is perfect for the data set. Moving on to the most toughest one. This is the most toughest one. So for this, we'll maybe needing more complexity. It's kind of struggling. It's not enough. And you notice it's taking more time to do that. So these are the different predictions, calculations made by each line. So this is still not enough. Let's increase the complexity even more and see what happens. The loss is actually increasing with sigmoid. You can also add more inputs to the data to make it easier for the neural network. So in this way, you can visualize the whole how the whole neural network thing happens, how these how these classify the data set. As you can see, it's kind of defining a boundary between blue and the orange ones. It's kind of struggling, as you can see here, but it's still doing the job. Maybe just even more complexity is what helps it. So how does this all happen? Okay, the basic idea is that when you take the features or the parameters, what you do is you connect every neuron to every other neuron in the subsequent layer. Okay, when you connect it like that, so these neurons are connected to each other through something called these lines. These are called channels. Okay, every channel is associated with some weight. As you can see, this channel has a weight of 0.12. We can also change it if you want. So it's on the concept called weighted sum. So each neuron is the value in each neuron is multiplied with the weight and then added whole together and passed to this one. Okay. So after doing all the calculations, when it arrives at the solution, okay, you have two neurons at the output. So if it sees a wrong prediction, it goes back in the same direction. It goes back in opposite direction, but in the way it goes, it alters these weights. Okay, so by passing the data from back and forth, the neural network gets better and better by adjusting the weights of the inner channels. So in that way, so as you can see, it actually defined the boundary between them. So this is how neural networks work. This is the basic concept behind neural networks. Satish sir.
Yeah, thank you, Vishwanath, for showing this. Can you show us the website name also so that our guys will practice?
Yes, of course. Yeah, this is called playground.tensorflow.org. You can go there and experiment with it. Try different types of learning rates, activation functions. Different types of problems, regularizations. Add and remove more complexities to the neural network. Try on different types of data. There are many possibilities.
Yep. Thank you, Vishwanath. Tomorrow we're expecting one more presentation from you, some practical presentation on TensorFlow.
Okay, sir.
Yep. So guys, this is just basic introduction for neural networks. So a lot of things are there. So the next presentation will be on chatbots. Please pay attention from now. The next few minutes, we're going to start with the chatbot session. So two different kind of chatbots we are going to demonstrate now. So using existing Python libraries, as well as using IBM Watson API. So you can develop any chatbot of you can choose any library or any platform of your choice. So once you develop, we'll share one Excel sheet to you, one Google form to you. We'll post that Google form in after a few minutes in the job description of this YouTube video. So once you develop chatbots, you can post the links. We'll finalize the best chatbots after 10 days. Okay. So next will be from Monica. Monica, please unmute yourself. Yeah, please start sharing your screen. Monica, your voice is not audible, Monica.
Now, sir?
Yeah, it's audible now.
Okay.
Please
So,
start sharing
hello.
your screen. Show us.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for this opportunity. So, let's start first meeting the bot. It's important to know the output before coding. So, I'll be showing you the output. So, wait just a minute. Hello, Jarvis. Can you open YouTube for me? Can you do a Wikipedia search on Robert Downey Jr.? Okay, is there some issue? Okay. So this way we can actually do multiple work, like we can ask for the time, we can open many things, we can play music, we can email to our friends and all. So there are multiple work which we can automate using bot, and yeah, that's that. And let's see how it's built using Python. So is the code visible?
Yeah, your code is visible.
So first we will import the libraries. The first library is pyttsx3. It's a library for to convert the text to speech. So whatever text, for example, if we wanted to, like here, let's go down and check some text. So it said good morning, right? So it's a text. We have passed a text, but we want it to speak. So for that, we need text to speech conversion library. So we have used pyttsx3 library for that. Datetime simply gets the date from the system. Speech recognition, it's one of the most important library. It's for basically performing the speech recognition with support for several engines and APIs. There are many engines and APIs available, like from Google has provided some, Microsoft has provided, IBM has provided, Wit.ai has provided. So there are a lot of libraries, APIs, engines that has been provided. We can use any one of them. It just recognizes the input speech, like I said hello. So it took the hello. So that is how it recognizes it. And this is import Wikipedia. So it's a Python library again that makes it easy to access and pass the data from Wikipedia. It helps to fetch a variety of information from Wikipedia website. Okay. Then the web browser. So the web browser module basically provides a high level interface to allow displaying web-based content to the user, like it opened the YouTube. So by just simply calling the functions from this module, will do the right thing for us. Then there's OS module. OS module provides a portable way of using the operating system dependent functionality, like opening anything, Visual Studio Code, or opening particular file we want to open. So we can do that using OS. And then there's SMTP library. So it's a as the name suggests, SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol library to for mailing. I have written the code. We can use this and simply mail from one person. Like we have to give the accounts detail, and it will just mail to that person. Then we have created an engine, the object creation for to for conversion of text to speech conversion. This will use the library PyTT-SX3 and the SAPI 5. It's a Microsoft built API. So we can use Python script to make computer speak using built-in voice that's compatible with, like we can use, I have used Microsoft SAPI 5 is a Microsoft's version. You can use any one. You have got multiple, as I said. So SAPI 5, then it's used for voice recognition, and it synthesizes provided by Microsoft, and it has got different properties. Now the get property, though, the get property will get the details of the current voice, like the system has voices. So I have got two voices, 0 for male voice and 1 for female voice. So as the male voice, for using the male voice, the ID is 0, and for female voice, the ID will be 1. So it will set according to the ID which we provide, it will set that voice to our engine. Then there are different methods. Okay, so like first, let's go to main function first. So while true, that's the reason it will go in loop, like again and again it will wait for our input. So the moment we'll say something, it will call the take command method, which we have defined above, take command. It takes the input from the user and returns the string output. Like all the magic in speech recognition happens with this recognizer class. The primary purpose of a recognizer instance, of course, to recognize speech, but each instance comes with a variety of settings and functionality of recognizing speech from an audio source using various APIs. Recognize Google is one of the API that I have used here. So yeah, you can see here, it will be taking the input, whatever we will be passing, or like hello, for example. Yeah, it will put that in query, and it's just printing it. I guess I'm not shared this. Okay, we'll see again later. And if like I said something gibberish thing, which has no meaning or which I have not defined, so for that it will go in exception, and it will say that again please, and will return none. Let's see what's the next. Next is Wikipedia. As I said, it didn't work. I don't have to check again. We'll try again. So it will search and it will sentence equal to 2. It will go to Wikipedia and it will search for first 2 sentences and it will speak those 2 sentences in a summarized way. Okay. And yeah, that's it. Then there's Wikipedia. Yeah, we have imported the library of Wikipedia that will do our work. Then open YouTube, the first command which we gave, open YouTube. So it will just go to a web browser. Using that, it will directly open this particular link, youtube.com. And the same way when we call for Google, open Google, it will call for google.com. Stack Overflow, as we engineers are like, without Stack Overflow, engineers can't do most of the thing. So like, it's a Bible for engineers. So it is must. Yeah, even for play music, I have passed wherever the instance of the music I have stored, you can just pass that particular link using OS, as I said, operating system library. That will, using that, it will go to that directory and it will just play that music. We can just change the songs. It's 0 songs, 0 index, so it will go for first song. We can accordingly change it, or we can basically store in a dictionary with the name and we can pass the name and accordingly it will take the index and will pass here. Depends on how we want to use it. The time basically will take the system's time and then speak the time. Open code will for Visual Studio Code for this particular file or application. You just pass the link for that exe file and it will be executed. Email. So when it sees email and instead of giving the name of the person who you want to mail, you can just again put it in a dictionary, give it an index and accordingly give the email ID with it. So the index will be the name and the value will be the email ID. So it will fetch the email ID from that index and it will pass. So it will first, okay, we'll say, what should I say? So whatever we will say, okay, give the reminder of the next presentation or whatever. So that will be taken as a content. That will be the mail ID of that particular person. And this to and content will be gone to the email and it will just email. Once that process is completed, that mail has been sent, it will speak, okay, your mail has been sent. Or if there is some issue, maybe it didn't got the mail ID from or whatever, so it will say, it will go to the exception and print and say, sorry, I'm not able to send this email. Okay, yeah. So I have defined all the functions above. As we can see, the take command and the wish. So wish me is simply when I said hello. So it took the hello and then I have called for wish me. As you can see here, yep, as I said hello, then it called for wish me and wish me. Yeah, so it said hello Monica. Then I just took the time and depending on the time, whether it's 0 to 12 hours, 12 to 18 hours, or then later till 24 hours, it will say good morning, good afternoon, or evening, whatever. And yeah, this is it. Then take command. I said about it, right? This threshold is basically if we want, when we speak and we want the system to wait for some time before doing the next activity, we can just add pause threshold equal to whatever number we want. We can just pass that. Exception fine. And send email. Here you will pass the email ID of whom you want to send your mail to and the content what you want to send. So you will call that SMTP library and its address and its port number. You will pass that. So it's nothing but it will call that. It will start all the inner functions and then it will log in with the you have to send from your email ID to someone else. So your email ID and password you need to pass here. And then I've commented this because it contains the password, so I can show that. And yeah, then it will fill in the to and the content part into your mail, and then it will send the mail and close the server. Okay, let's just rerun it. Hello. Send email to Monica.
Monica, do one thing, share your computer audio also so that we can hear what your bot is saying.
Oh, you're not able to hear that. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, when you're sharing your screen, you can see a bar, right? Zoom bar. In that, share computer audio also. Your screen is not visible now.
Yeah, I'm doing that. Share computer sound.
No, after sharing your screen only that appear. That bar will be appeared. Okay. Now you can see the Zoom bar, right? Then go to more. Click on share computer audio.
Yeah, okay, done.
Yeah, now you can continue. Guys, the purpose of this project is to capture your voice and to convert and to recognize and to use different kind of APIs of Google, Wikipedia, and do some stuff and shows the result. That's the purpose of this simple bot. Okay. Later, we are going to see Watson bot. Maybe in 5 minutes, we are going to start how to use Watson bot. And meanwhile, participants, we have posted some WhatsApp links in this video description. If you refresh this video, you can find 4 WhatsApp groups. Please join in only one WhatsApp group. One WhatsApp group is enough. We have created 4 WhatsApp groups for the participants. Please join only in one WhatsApp group. You can refresh the page. You can refresh the video. You can find in the description. At the end of the session, we are going to share the meeting, this particular attendance sheet also. Please be hold on. Next, we are going to see Watson chatbot. Yeah, please continue, Monica.
Hello.
Your bot is waiting.
Yeah.
Hello, Monica. Good morning. I am Jarvis, madam. Please tell me, how may I help you?
Send email to Monica. Okay. Wikipedia search for Robert Downey Jr.
Searching Wikipedia. According to Wikipedia, Robert John Downey Jr., born April 4, 1965, is an American actor, producer, and singer.
Play music.
Hey, for music, we'll get copyrights. Stop the music. You should not play music, okay? Because we are on YouTube, so it will create some issue. Except music, do other activities. Now ask who is the CEO of IndianServers.
Oh, okay. I guess I said the time. Who is the CEO of IndianServers? A lot of input noises makes it confused.
Yeah, but if you Google it, you will get the accurate information. Okay, we can use Google API. We can integrate a lot of things. Yeah, anything more, Monica, you want to show?
Yeah, there's one more thing. Recently, I found something really interesting. I'd like to share that. Just a minute. Yeah, this is naturalsql.com. It's a very nice AI bot. It's been developed by, I don't know, but it's really good. It has given some content like tables, and we just need to tell it what we want, and it will automatically create the query and give the result. It's really nice. Let's check like get data of template. Let's go for ID 7. And there you go. It created the query by itself and then even given the output. So that's one of the best application that I've seen on AI bot. Do have a look.
So see here, the moment AI recognize how to search in Stack Overflow, then end for the developers, right? So if you are showing these kind of bots, means people will obviously start doing this kind of database chatbot. It's very good. It's fine. So show some more queries. It's looking good. This chatbot, naturalsql.com.
Okay, so let's see the tables. We'll understand.
What's the maximum template ID or document ID?
Yep, select.
It's good. So average templates, all these things are good, right? So let's do, Monica, one more thing. This natural SQL is looking good. We want to find some more these type of websites. Like next, we are going to present one more. Manaswini is there. She's going to present on how to develop chatbots for COVID. Harshavardhan is there. He's going to walk through different kind of chatbots in IBM. How to use IBM Watson. Okay. Do one thing, Monica. This
Yes.
natural SQL is good. Show us some more websites tomorrow, like this type of website. Audience, how
Okay.
many of you like this website? Right now, around 225 plus participants are watching this video in YouTube. I think it crosses 3,000 today. How many of you like this video? This naturalsql.com. Seriously, I'm liking a lot. There are people spending a lot to learn this SQL. They're investing a lot of time, not just money. They're investing a lot of time. But if we show these type of things,
Yeah,
you'll feel very
future.
happy. Okay. So hope this particular natural SQL will make the stored procedures also. Will create stored procedures. Okay. Thank you, Monica. Anything more you want to present?
No, so that's it.
Yeah, thank you, Monica. We're expecting one more presentation from your side, like these type of bots. This naturalsql.com is really good. Next presentation is from Mr. Harshavardhan. Harshavardhan, please show us how to develop chatbots using IBM Watson.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, please share your screen and
Yes,
start the session.
I'm sharing my screen.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you very much. Tomorrow, we're expecting one more presentation from you with a list of such type of bots.
Hello, guys. This is Harshavardhan. So let us see how to build chatbots using Watson. Before going to build a chatbot using Watson, let us know a brief introduction about Watson. So Watson is a technology platform that uses natural language processing and machine learning to reveal insights from language amounts of unstructured data. Like, it processes the inputs you gave to it. The users gives to it, and it searches for the synonyms and entities in the input, and it responses it gives the correct response for your given input. So actually the Watson was created to answer the questions in Jeopardy quiz, which is on 2011. It was created in 2011, and the Watson has stood in the top, like beating the champions of who are Brad Rutter and Ken Jennings of the Jeopardy game, and it won $1 billion for it also, $1 million actually. So how does a computer, I mean, the Watson, like a computer, do such type of things, and expert, and how we become an expert in all these subjects and which are covered in Jeopardy. So Watson is IBM's artificial intelligence solution. So to make an expert system which can understand natural language information sources in order to make its own hypothesis, means in order to create its own rules and hypotheses based on the given input data or given information that IBM has gathered, I mean, sorry, Watson has gathered. So Watson is described to be a computer that can mirror the human cognition process, dividing into 4 different sections. Like the first section is observing, and then next interpret, and then next learning unique things like evolution. The third section is evolution, and the final section is responding. So the first section, which is observing, so we humans do observing all the things around us, and we store some information in our minds. So like this, Watson also observes, I mean, gathers information from various researches and research papers, Facebook posts, and blog entries. Not to mention, Watson can gather, can take information from millions of places in seconds. And the second one, which is interpret is nothing but to translate, like it translates the information which is understandable to it, and it gives the response according to our understandable language also. So then next, the evolution. Evolution is the big phase here, because when you observe some things and when you translate it in your mind, you will try to analyze or evaluate the things with like, what is it, what is it doing, and what is the answer for the particular question and all. So Watson also does the same, like it evaluates the things which is given to it as an input or the information it gathered, and after evaluation it responses as per the uh, input and all. So this is just little bit introduction about Watson, guys, actually. So there is much more to talk about Watson. So before, I mean, and it's the time is also will take much, and I'm closing the introduction here. And actually, in 2011, this was developed to crack a quiz, which is Chatbot. Like from 2011 onwards, the Watson was updated more and more and more, and with many, many options to build chatbots and all. So let us get started with uh, building a chatbot. Before building a chatbot, you need to have an IBM ID and an IBM cloud account for it. Uh, Sir, if you want me to show how to register for IBM ID and IBM cloud,
No, no,
I'll show.
registration. Yeah, registration is simple thing. Anyone can do it. It's not an
Yes,
issue.
sir.
Yeah, please
Yes, sir.
start developing a small chatbot.
Okay, sir. So guys, this is the dashboard of IBM Cloud. And after getting the logging into your IBM Cloud account, you will be showing like this. And you have to go to the catalog, which is shown here. And yeah, it's loading. So this is the catalog, which has features, services, softwares, and all. So here is the Watson Assistant. So click on it and we'll open it. So you'll be redirecting to this particular what I say page, and here it's showing to create one IBM Watson Assistant. So here the region is London, which you it's set it as default, and there are plans like light. here, the Lite plus Trial plus Premium, and Lite gives 10,000 messages per month, and I think it's fine for us to create for free, because 10,000 messages per month is what we it's an enough for us to create some bots, like a little bots which are for our use only. So click on the create. You will be creating an IBM Watson assistant. So yeah, it's created. So here are the credentials. It's the API key and the URL for you for your Watson. So if you want, you can copy this URL and keep it at yourself, and along with this API key. And before to build a chatbot, we have to launch the Watson Assistant. Start by launching the tools. So Watson Assistant, we're launching. And yes, here it's showing like intents, entities, dialogue, options, analytics, versions, and content catalog. So we'll cover one by one. For building a chatbot using Watson Assistant, you have to consider three things, which are intent, entities, and dialogue. Intents are nothing but the questions or the user inputs. You have to give examples for all the sorts of user inputs which you think the user will like this, ask like this. So for, now I am going to build a chatbot which recommends books of various genres. So to recommend a book, what will we ask for? Like, hey, recommend book for me, and or else recommend some books for me. What can I do? What do you can do for me? And like this, we will ask some questions, right? So those questions are in the category of intents. So intent uh, will possess a name, and it possesses all the sort of questions or the user inputs. And the entities are nothing but the synonyms or the main parts of those inputs, like to evaluate, as I said in earlier, Watson will evaluate the same things, right? So after getting the user input, to evaluate the things, it will search for a particular synonym or an entity of which with the help of which it can give a proper response. So if I say show me horror books or recommend me some horror books, horror will be the entity, and the synonyms for the horror will be horrible, terrific, and some like intra I mean sorry uh, some thrillers like this, and those will come under the category of entities. So it will like see like this. And the dialogue is which the ultimate goal, which is a response for a user's input. So a dialogue is a combination of intents, condition, and entity. So from the intent, it will search for the entity, and with this entity it will search for the condition, like whether the horror books are there or not. If there, then what are the books are for the entity called horror. So those will be displayed as a dialogue, as a response for the user. And a combination of intent, entities, and dialogue, all this is called as a skill. So I think, guys, I'm in a flow. So uh, I'm just saying it theoretically. So let's do a practical thing so that you can understand the better. It will understand it better. So let us create an assistant. So after that, you have to click on this assistant, and you have to click create assistant. So I'm creating a book recommender. So book recommend. So I'm saying that leaving the description as optional. I'm leaving it. So create an assistant. So always enable preview link because you have to get a link for your chatbot, right? So create an assistant. Yeah, it's created. Here it's showing that skill on, and in this skill, it's showing the dialogue skill, add dialogue skill. Click on add dialogue skill. So you are creating a skill which is for which you are in which you are going to import the intents and entities, and you are going to give some dialogues, I mean the responses, so all those, right? So for this uh, create skill, I'm saying that its name as my book skill. You can give any sort of name. I'm just giving my book skill for the uh, regarding, I mean, sorry, according to our bot, and it will what it will show. It will recommend some books. Recommend some books. So yes, I have given the description. Description is optional, guys. You if you want, you can give. Else, you can leave it as empty. So create dialogue skill. So yes, the skill is created, and you can see here it is currently with 0 intents, 0 entities, but the dialogues are but there are 2 dialogue nodes. So guys, the entities and intents will be empty at the beginning, but the dialogue nodes will always starts with a welcome and anything or anything else. These 2 dialogue nodes will be there. Welcome is like it will show the first message or first response, like what it will do, or welcoming the person. And anything else means if you gave some, if the user gives some question or some input which is not understandable or which is not mentioned in this particular bot, it has to give some response, right? It will not show like as an empty. It will give some response. So I don't know, I don't understand, like this. So that will be stored in those. We will see later it we'll see about it later. So click on this skill, and yeah, we are back again to intents. And if you observed it, priorly when I opened this IBM Watson assistant at the first, it is showing my first skill, but now it's showing my book skill, because which is I created right now. So let us create one intent for us. So you should always give intent name with an asterisk, and followed by it, you have to give name in such a way that you can't give spaces in between. So like book, oh, sorry, book space recommend is a wrong process of naming, because it will allow you to give names as capitals, smalls, I mean capital letters, small letters, numerics, and underscore or hyphen. Else you can use dots, but you can't allow to use spaces there. So book underscore recommendation. So yes, right, this is my first intent. So I have gave the name to the intent. So what it will do, it will recommend books as usual. Recommend books of various genres. So create a content intent. Yeah, it's asking for example, user example. Add unique example of what the user might say. Like you have to predict the example or the example inputs, like what will user give. So uh, I will give like show me some books. I have added one example. You can show you can see here user example one. I have given one example like this, and you can show like show me some horror books. So it is also added. So if you want to check whether it will work or not, you are seeing this right button here, right? You can click on it, and yeah, as I said, sorry, it is showing hello, how can I help you? So let us give some here I have mentioned an example, like show me some horror books. I'm typing this, show me some horror books. Okay, so the intents are not clear given up yet, so it belongs to book recommendation actually. So let us try again, show me some. So yeah, it recognized as it is a book recommendation statement, which we are given, but we haven't given the responses yet. So don't observe at the responses. Presently, it's showing that the intent for the show me some books is book recommendation. It's just a preview, guys. You can't you need not to bother about whether I get these intent names and entity names at the end. You need not to bother. It's just a preview. So this is one of the intent. So we can't manually type all these like questions here, right? So for this, I have already put some like what I say in a CSV file. I have put some questions and with the journal names. So these are the questions like various uh, types of users can ask. Book recommendations for fictions, book recommendations for mysteries, and one row I'm adding all the questions, all the sort of questions, and in other row, I mean column, I'm mentioning the intent name, which is book underscore recommendation. So let us import it. So here you will see an arrow symbol in Upwords. You are so click here and choose a file which you want to import. And up to now you can only import 10 MB file only, because you are not allowed to. You are a light user, right? You are not a premium user or plus user. So yes, I have a book recommendation CSV here. I'm importing it. So yes, it's loaded and import it, right? Yeah, here it's showing 55 new examples are added and 0 new intents are added. So 0 new intents added, it's showing like this because the intent name which I mentioned and also the intent name which I mentioned in the Excel sheet are both are the same. So it's showing as 0 intents added, 0 new intents are added, and one duplicates ignored, because from the two given examples which I gave earlier, maybe one of the example may be matched with the example which is in CSV file, so it is discarded as ignored like this. So done. So we have added the intents, I mean sort of questions for which an user can ask. So next step we have to do is to create an entity. So we have gathered this. If you have doubt whether those questions are there or not, click on this book recommendation. You will be seeing there is 57 examples, like good books for kids, good books for and younger students or adults, like this. Here are some 57 examples. So I am developing a basic bot. That's why these 57 is enough for me. So I'm just developing, I mean, sorry, building for your knowledge purpose only. So coming back to our flow, next step we have to do is to create an entity. So click on entity, and you have to create from my entities. So create one entity, and so the intent name is given with hash, but and the entity name is given with starting symbol as @ it will be indicated with @ symbol. So book underscore genre. So I'm giving the entity like book underscore genre, which the genres I'm talking about the genres. Genres are various genres like horror, mysteries, and fantasies, like fictions, science fiction, and some genres are there. So create this entity. I have given a name and creating an entity. So it's asking for value and synonyms to enter. So I'm giving a value like horror. Horror is one of the entity. And if you are unable to find the synonyms for your value, uh, Watson recommends you for some synonyms and you can select from those. So here you are seeing this with synonyms, right? Recommend synonyms. Click on it. So finding recommendations for horror. So it has given me some recommendations like horror. So I'm selecting scary, horrible, and thriller, and some zombies. Add the selected. So I have selected these synonyms for value called horror. So now what you have to do is add value. So wait a minute, wait a second, sorry, showing somewhere. So add value. Yeah, you can see here the value has added horror synonyms. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 synonyms, one value with 4 synonyms. Like this, you can add some intents and all. So I have some intents with me in a CSV file. So I'm importing those intents here, like I did in entities here, like I did in intents. So import a file and book journs is my CSV file in which there are some entity values. So guys, it's also showing 55 new synonyms added, 9 new values are added, and 3 duplicates ignored. 3 duplicates ignored means horror is already, I have created horror value for called horror, and the synonyms for it, 3 of the synonyms are matched with it, so it is ignoring the synonyms. So click on done. So I have added entities also. So the first step has completed and second step also completed. So the third step, what we have to do is to create dialogues. Before going to create dialogues, guys, I want you to add one more one more intent for this skill, which is in content catalog. So content catalog all the previous what I say, some general intents. So here is there is a one intent called general. I'm adding it to skill. So some show look into intents. There are some intents are added which are general about you, general agent capabilities. All this I will tell all about all these intents. So let's get into dialog box. So here, as I said earlier, the dialog will consist 2 nodes by default, which is welcome and one is anything else. This welcome is for showing the starting of the assistant, and anything else is for saying that if the user enters anything which is not related or which is can't understandable by your chatbot or your assistant, then it will say some I don't understand, I didn't understand, or can you change your language, or all these things. So those will be in this something else. So click on this welcome. you will be showing. So the dialog name is welcome, and if assistant recognizes welcome, means if the assistant is started, then the text like assistant response. So what should the assistant has to respond is written here. So hello, how can I help you? And earlierly guys, whenever I open this trade box, you are seeing like how hello, how can I help you, right? So this how can I help you is in this welcome dialog box. So, dialog node actually. So if you want any other response also, you can add here. So hey, I can recommend some books for you. So add, enter, click enter, add. So here responses variations are set to sequential, set to random. So set it to random because whenever you click enter some new value, it will be select some random one randomly. So whenever I open this, wait a minute. So close this. So try it. I open try it. Okay. So yes, hey is actually the intent is mentioned, but the response is doesn't mention here. So it's showing I didn't understand. You can try rephrasing like this. So if you want, you can remove this welcome also. Yeah, it's showing like this. Hey, I can recommend some books for you once and clear again, and it will show. So hello, how can I help you? So there are two responses which I have entered here. First is hello, how can I help you? And the second one is hey, I can recommend some books for you. So I set it to random so that it is showing randomly. Whenever I click on clear, it's showing something else which is not there previously. Yeah. So it is not the chatbot already built, right? So you have to add some responses, means add some dialogues. So I am adding a node, add a node. So this node is for greeting purpose. Like, hey, hi, how are you? All those are greetings, right? So here I am importing an intent, which is greeting, because intent greetings, and the response should be like, hey. So what are you expecting? What will be there? What you think there will be in this intent general greetings? So I think the exact thing like hey, hi, how are you, and all. So sorry guys. So enter a response. Hey, how are you? And then next hello. It's another response, right? Hello. And else you can say hey. So all these are responses, and you have to set it to random because whenever getting the same like same message for every time whenever you're saying hi, hello, all this will appear a bit weird, right? So let's test this journal. I mean, sorry, this dialog box, whether it works or not. So hey, I can recommend you some books. It's showing. So let us say hello. So yeah, it's saying hey, how are you? So it's responding. Previously, it's saying I can't understand you or something else. Can you change your language? All those, but it's now it's saying whenever I say hello, it's saying hey, how are you? Like this you are going to give responses uh, from your assistant. You are going to give responses from your assistant. And so currently we have built for saying hello, right? So let us build one more. I mean, sorry, let us add one more. to say bye or thank you. So I'm adding a note below it, below these greetings. So this note name is for thank you, and I'm adding an intent called general, general ending. And in this general ending, usually the questions will be like, the user inputs will be like bye, uh, thank you so much, like this. So you can, okay, then the assistant's response will be something like this: thank you, or else you can say bye, else you can say it's uh, it's nice to chat with you. So here are some responses I have entered. So let us check all these responses whether those are working or not. So initially we have said hello, then we will say thank you. Yeah, it's saying it's general feedback or something. Next we'll say bye. Yes, when we say bye, it's showing like it's a general ending and thank you. And when we say thank you, it's showing like something this. When if you are facing like this, then change the intent here. Then it will be trained so that whenever you type next, then thank you. Yes, uh, again it will it's showing like this. So if you want this to be happen, then you can change in the general endings. You can include thank you also in general endings in intents. So go to intents and you can add like here. Okay, then thank you. So it's not saying it's a duplicate value because it's already, this value is already included in a general intent called uh, this negative feedback, positive feedbacking as per its as per our assistant. So it's showing that it is a duplicate value, so we can't enter them. So let us go for with building some more responses for book recommendations and all. So currently we have created responses for greeting and thank you. So next, let us start the original action now. So I am adding a note below this greeting, and because after greeting we are entering to book recommendations, right? So I'm giving the name for this as book recommendations. So here I'm going to import entities rather than intents. I'm going to give entities because for recommending a book, I have to evaluate, right? I have to evaluate the input. So I am giving entities to identify the synonyms or the values which are those present in, sorry, we have entities, right, with some values like horror, mystery and all. So recommend a book like horror books or mystery books, we can search for a value called horror, whether it is present in that like what I say input or not. Yes, we can see intents as, sorry, we have to import firstly, we have to import intents so for the questions, right? So what we have to say, so book recommendation intent consists of show me some recommend me some books, show me some books for horror and all. So what can this assistant can respond? So like, yeah, I'm sure I can recommend, or yes, I can recommend books for you, and books recommend for you. So all this. So yes, currently it's So let us try this. So show me some book. When I click show me some books, it's searching for intents and all. Let us do one more time, clearing all the content. Right, yes. Show me some books. So yes, it's saying it identified it is this question is from book recommendation intent and it's responding as sure. Then next show again what will it say? Let us see again what will it say. Show me some books. I'm typing again the same, but it's giving another response. Yes, I can recommend you books, recommends for books for you. So it's not like we have not to get only yes I can sure I can recommend you books. So we have to search for the entity also, because we have to show the book names there, like for which for the different entity there are different books. So for this book recommendation node I am creating a child node which will be inside it actually. So whenever I created a child node, here you can observe the remaining nodes has this arrow symbol, but this book recommendation dialog node has this arrow symbol because it consists a child node. So this child node is for book genres actually. So there are different entities like horror and all those, right? Those are entity values. So in our language those are called as genres, right? So book genre, yes, I'm importing an entity which is a book genre. And so what will it have to respond? So there is not only one book genre is there, right? There are multiple values. There are 9 values for a book genre. So you have to customize this. Yes guys, observe carefully, this is the second phase. Up to now we have given straight away responses to those dialog boxes, and now we are giving according to the condition. So click on this customize button here and scroll down. You can see screen visible with multiple condition response. So click switch it as on and apply. So how it will look like, you all pretty well known about the switch condition, right? Switch condition in coding, C language or Python and wherever. So what switch condition will do? It's firstly it evaluates the condition and then it will searches for the case number. How it will be the case. So here I'm giving the first thing as book genre, and the book genre I'm going to give is kids. So for this value called kid from this book genre, if it is present in this book genre entity, then respond with kids books. So one response is added. So add another response. So from the same from the same entity called book genres, and again, so here you have to mention colon here. So, because you are selecting one value from it, right? So entity value is what I am selecting is next horror books. So for a value called horror, which if it is present in book genre entity, then respond with horror books. Yes. Okay. Let us close this. Let us try this whether it is working or not. Show me some horror books. Horror. So once this, yes, we will do it again. it's not going to give exact value. Like when you say show me some books related to horror, it's not going to give the response like horror books. Show me some horror books. So it's not going to give the exact response because it's giving sure. It's identifying it's the horror is a entity value which belongs to book genre entity, and the question which it belongs to book recommendation, but it's not giving me the proper response which I gave like horror books. So for this, what we have to do is click on.
Yeah, Harsha.
Yeah, sir.
Let's check the spelling also. HORR.
Okay, sir. Yeah. So guys, see here, I have spelled the word horror wrongly. I mean, improperly, but it is identifying the correct spelling of horror. It is the specialty of Watson because when you spell it wrongly also, it will search for the entity which is related to it because it's identifying the first and last word and it's correcting itself and showing some response for horror. So like this, if you are not typing the spelling correctly also, you will get the response with this Watson. It's one of the specialty for Watson. So now our task is to get proper response for this particular horror value. So for that, go to book recommendations dialog node, click here these three dots and click on jump to. So when we have to jump to the child node, right? For the response, we have to jump there. Click on jump to. So click on this and go to down. Here, the assistant should wait for reply. So it's saying responding and waiting for reply. So it's not wait. It should not wait for reply, right? So it has to jump to the genre entities responses. So jump to. So wait a minute, guys. It has to select. We have to select where we jump. Actually, let me refresh this for once, and we'll continue. So yes, here is the book recommendation dialog node, and so now click on jump to. So where we have to jump for response, we have to jump to book genres. So click on book genres, and after clicking jump to or wait for users input, or you have to if assistant recognizes the condition. So you have to evaluate the condition and give the response, right? So you have to click on if assistant recognizes the condition. So yes, I hope it works. So try this. Let's check this out. So show me some horror books. And it's still sure. It's giving sure. So whether, okay, let us see one more time whether it is trying or something else. So let us try one more time. Show me some horror books. I hope it will work. Okay, not. So let us do one more time. Yeah. So for horror, I have went to give some response actually. Sorry. So horror books. Yeah, it will work this time. So try it. So enter again. Show me some horror books. Yes, it's now showing sure horror books. So it's showing the response for this book recommendation dialog node, and later it's showing the response for the entity value, which is horror, and the response for that horror value is, which we mentioned, is horror books. So it's showing horror books. So like this, it will show. So let us get into some more, a bit more complexity. So let us give exact names of all these books names. So to enter manually, I have put some all those types of genre book names and notepad file like this. So here is a genre name, biography, and these are the books for it, and mysteries and horror. These are the books for the mysteries and horror. Yeah, guys, I have I have said that there is mystery is an entity value and horror is an entity value, but here the mystery books and horror books are the same, right? So what we have to do? Nothing we have to do, and we have to mention here as or. This double pipe symbol will be called as or, and I'm adding one more entity, book genre column mystery. Yes, and let us give it the proper book names and all. Let us give some book names and let us check it for this, for horror mystery books. So these are the books names for horror mystery books, and for kids books, there are some list of books for kids. Yes, this is the list of books for kids, which copy this and paste it with the response. Yes, so we have pasted here, and I'm adding one more general value, which is a fiction. Book journal is fiction books. I'm adding as fiction. Coming to this, guys, let us see one note file once. So here there are several many types of fictions, right? Historical fiction, fantasy is also a fiction, and science fiction, realistic fiction. There are many types of fictions, but how can we resolve this problem? I'll show you. I'll tell this you. So what type of fiction you want is my response for this fiction. So I am here I have to list out the fictions also. Science fiction, fantasy. As of now I'm showing with these two only. So close this and check this out. So, show me some horror books. Yeah, it's showing. Yes, I can recommend books for you, and these are the books, list of books which is for horror. The Shadow of the Wind by Carol Lewis Jaffon, and The Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, and all these books. So I have mentioned horror and mystery as together, right? If user has an entity value like horror or mystery, it will has to show the same response. So let us see whether it is showing the correct response or not. Show me some mystery books. Sure, it is not showing mystery books. So what happened here? Let us have a look on this, and mystery books.
Yeah, Harsha, can you make it little quick? Because OpenCV projects are also waiting.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So guys, and you can add this like this, and for this fiction, I will show you one more example. Like I'm adding one more child for fiction because the fiction also includes some values, right? So fiction, this is for fiction actually. And for fiction from these entities, I have a file for fiction. So I'm creating one more entity for fiction only because I'm importing it. I have a CSV file for it. I have listed all this fiction entities separately. So here, genre fictions for only for the frictions. Yes, it's created and moving to the dialog. Here in the book recommendations, we have the new one, the fiction. In this fiction, we are now mentioning genre fiction. So now it will also consist some multiple responses, right? As it has to check for the condition. So give it as multiple condition response and apply it. Yes, from entities, which is a general fiction, I'm showing for this value of science fiction, I'm showing the books called science fiction books. Where is science fiction? Yes. Copy and paste it here. And I'm adding another response for it. Entities, genre fiction, for the value of fantasy. So let us give some books for fantasy here. Copy and paste it here. And still it is not going to give you the correct response for all these entities because like it will stop here. It will showing the whenever you are entering the fiction, it will showing what kind of fiction you want. So you have to move this to this place because it has to first check for whether it is a fiction node or fiction value or not. Later it can go for genres because from the genres it is difficult to select, right? So how it has to respond. So if we still we are not going to get the proper response because the book recommendation is jumping directly to book genre. So we have to build a flow like this. It has to first jump into fictions. So it will jump into fictions and check for the condition. And from the fiction, if it's not there in the fiction, it has to jump to book genres. So let us try this, check this out. Show me some fiction books. So it's the fiction is an entity of book genres, right? So it's saying what type of fictions you want. So fantasy. Yeah, fantasy books are here displayed, and it's asking another time to what type of fiction books you want. So like this, you can build this. So this is the way you have to give responses to your Watson assistant. And this is we have created a skill which consists intents, entities, dialogues. Intents with all the inputs from the various users, and entities are like responses, synonyms or the key values to search for these responses or to evaluate all the inputs. And these dialogues are used for responses. So again, going to this assistant, here we'll be showing, yes, book recommender. So we have we will have a preview link for our assistant here. So this is our book recommender assistant. Click on it. So here we will be being visible like integrations. These integrations are nothing but you will be going to generate a preview link, or you will can assign this to the web chat, or like we can, if we click on the adding integrations. We can add this to web chat or preview link, and we can add this to Facebook Messenger, Slack, and all. So adding to Facebook Messenger and Slack is free for you, and generating a preview link also free. So it will defaultly, it will generate a preview link for us. So click on this preview link, and this is the link which is generated by default. So click on this link, you will be directed to your Watson bot, which is you have built right now. So this is assistant preview. So hey, I can recommend some books for you. So click say hello. Yourself. I'm saying hello. Yes. In the right box, you have we have shown that all the intent names, entities, and genres, but here it's not showing all those. It's simply saying responding us. So show me some horror books. Yes, it's giving some response. Yeah, it's working. So let's show me some fiction books. Sorry, books is not typed. Actually, yes, it corrected itself by default, and it's showing the response for fiction entity. So I want for fantasy. So it is going to give response for fantasy. Yeah, it's giving. So I'm closing this. Bye. Let's see what it will say. Thank you. So this is how you can build Watson assistants, guys. It's sorry. So wait a minute. I'm sure. So this is how you can build Watson assistant. Sorry, chatbots using IBM Watson Assistant, and I hope you have understood well. So if you want, you can build not only with this IBM Watson platform, you can build chatbots with various platforms like Pandora Bots, Microsoft Bot Framework, BotKit, and Converse.ai, Botter, Chatfuel, Flow, Exo, and Botify. And all these are the platforms to build chatbots. So among all these platforms, the Botify is the topmost platform to build chatbots, and IBM Watson is one of the top 20 best and easy ways to build chatbots. So thank you, guys. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Harsha. Small work. Can you open your notepad and type few Botify kind of platforms? Or just open Google, shows in your browser. That will be good. So that our participants will make a note of it. They'll try it their own way. And participants in this contest, not just for IBM Watson, you can use any platform, build very good chatbot. Next, Manaswini will be there. She's going to show us different kind of chatbot, a chatbot which she have developed. She's just second year student from Hyderabad, BTech student. So most of the persons, those who don't like coding or who don't know coding also can use these type of platforms to build chatbots. If you're good in programming, you can use existing libraries or you can make your own library also. So please make a note of these platforms to build chatbots. Please build few chatbots for the contest. Next will be there on OpenCV. We have very less time, hardly 10 minutes we have. In this 10 minutes, we cannot complete OpenCV. So tomorrow we'll concentrate on OpenCV. Now we'll continue with a demonstration from Manaswini. Tomorrow, fantastic session will be there on OpenCV. A live Sudoku solver will be there. And you know, Duck Hunt, have you played that game in your childhood? How many of you played Duck Hunt game? That means some ducks will fly on the screen. You have to shoot them. How many of you know how that gun works? Because you used in your CRT monitors, right? How many of you know that how that duck hunting that particular gun works? So small Google search will help you for that. Tomorrow, duck hunting game will be there, and OpenCV projects will be there, and Keras projects will be explained tomorrow. And one project next from Manaswini. Yeah, please make a note of these platforms to build chatbots. We're going to post two things in few minutes. One is attendance sheet. Attendance sheet hardly for few hours. After that, attendance sheet will be removed from the description. Okay. Those who fill attendance sheet, they only get the certificate from Andhra Loyola Institute of Engineering and Technology. And please don't message to IndianServers for certificates. Those who fill attendance sheet, which is about to post after few minutes, it will be there only for 1 hour. If you fill the attendance sheet, you will get certificate. It will be considered as day one attendance. Tomorrow also you have to fill the attendance sheet for certificate. Since we don't have time today, we're not going to discuss about OpenCV. It's postponed for tomorrow's session. Now we'll continue with explanation of chatbot again. We are going to walk through a specific chatbot. Manaswini, please unmute yourself. Yeah, thank you, Harsha. Thank you. Very good explanation. Keep it up, Harsha.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Manaswini, last 5 to 10 minutes. You can start sharing your screen, Manaswini. Within 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to share the description. In the description, we're going to share the attendance sheet. We'll announce it. And all the participants are requested to join in one of the WhatsApp groups. We have mentioned 4 WhatsApp groups in the description. Please join in one of the WhatsApp groups so that you'll get notification for tomorrow's session. And we already shared tomorrow's session YouTube link. Please don't forget to join tomorrow also. Yeah, Manaswini, please continue.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. My name is Manaswini. I am a second-year student from Hyderabad. I had created a chatbot which can answer users' questions regarding COVID-19 pandemic using IBM Watson Assistant, Python, and COVID-19 API. So the features of the chatbot that I made are, it tells us about the number of daily changes of confirmed cases in a state, and it also tells us which zone a district is in. Apart from this, it gives us general information about corona, like what it is actually and what are the symptoms and how can you improve your immunity, how to sanitize eatables, and how to protect yourself from the virus, etc. So these are the various features of the chatbot. Let me now give you a brief explanation about how it's done. So there are three basic steps in creating any chatbot. They are intents, entities, and dialogues. So we need to create intents, entities, and dialogues to create any chatbot. So for now, first let's discuss about intents. So what are intents? An intent is used to detect the purpose of the user's input. For example, you tell a chatbot hi, so it should be able to detect that you are greeting it and give a response accordingly. So basically it is used to detect what the user wants to convey to the chatbot. So these are the various intents that I had given according to my requirement. So for example, if I see immunity, so in this intent of immunity, I gave 2 examples here. So now let me try it. I want to ask my chatbot what are the tips to boost immunity? So the output, let us ignore it for now. So basically here the thing to focus is that from the question that we had given to the chatbot, it was able to identify that we are asking something about immunity. So here it had identified that we asked a question on immunity. So based on that intent, it gives the response. So let's see the other intents that I've created. One is, so let's see about the COVID description. So the user may ask, what is corona? What is COVID-19? So this intent is used to detect that such a kind of question. So like, what is corona? So when I ask this, it's able to detect that I asked something related to corona, so it will give an information about the definition of corona and an image. So yeah, these are the various intents that I've used, like for essentials or symptoms and cleaning, how to clean eatables, and what is the latest news about corona. So all these are the intents that I've used. So now let's see the dialogues, and then let's see the dialogue section and then go back to entities. So a dialogue defines what your chatbot should say in response to the user's input. So when I gave hi, so it should detect that it is greeting and then give a particular response according to what I had given. So when I say hi, it should also tell hi and how can I help you, something like that. So so in dialogues we create various nodes. One of the node is greetings. So here, when the chatbot detects that the intent is greeting, it will respond with the output of hi there, how can I help you. So there are two different forms of the output of the chatbot that we can give. We can give it in text form, or not two, there are many, text form, or you can give it in the form of an image. So like this, like how I've done here. So these are like the output for a particular input. Let's see the other dialogues that are there. So about corona. So when the chatbot recognizes that I asked something about corona, it gives this particular input, which is the definition of corona, and an image which I've taken from the internet. We need to provide the source of the image here. So that is how the reply of the chatbot is displayed here. So basically, this dialogue is like it is like a flow of conversation. It is like suppose it is like a switch case. So first it checks this, and then if you are asking something about greetings, it goes here. If you're asking something about the latest news, it goes to this node and it gives the answer accordingly. Now suppose a person asks a question like, how many positive cases are there in Telangana on 1st August 2020? So till now, the questions that we have seen are like theoretical and like which have a static answer. Like the answer doesn't vary every time. So like when you ask what is corona, there's only one particular definition and not many. So now for the question that I've told now, which is how many positive cases are there in Telangana on 1st August. So this is something which varies every day. Like on like every day there are a different number of cases. So we can't give all the inputs here in the notes. So there are like thousands of answers that we can give, like if we take 1,000 days, in the span of 1,000 days. So how do we extract the information of the positive cases of a particular state on a particular day? So the answer to this question is that we can use the COVID-19 API. So the chatbot retrieves the information about the count of the cases in that particular state on that particular day from the API. So, so this is the API that I've used. There are various APIs, and the one that I had used for this particular example I was showing was to the daily state changes, which is this one. So yeah, if I ask the chatbot like a question like how many positive cases are there? So first it should recognize that the chatbot should first recognize that I asked something about cases, and then in the sentence that I give, it should take input of the state and it should take the input of the date. Like I give a sentence like the number of positive cases in Karnataka on 1st August 2020. So from this statement that I gave, it should take Karnataka and it should take the date. So it should take the state value and store it in this variable as $state, and then it should take the date value and store it in this variable. So if any one of them is not present, it is going to ask you to enter the state or enter the date. So here if you observe, I've used entities here. So why have I used entities? So you will ask the chatbot, tell me the cases in Karnataka. So how will the chatbot know that the word Karnataka means it is a state? So how will it know? So for this reason, I've used entities in which, suppose, let me take the states entity. Here I've given the various states. Like for now, I've given 4 states. So Karnataka is stored in the, like if you observe, I've given the short form of the state names, and the original names I've given them in the synonyms. So why did I do this? I have done this because in the API, if in the JSON file, if you see, the key value is in the form of like the short form of the state. So that is why I've used the short form here. So these are about entities. In the same way, district, the values of, so these are the various districts that I've given. Now let's get back to the dialog part. So in cases, so it will detect the state value and date value and store it into this variable. So now we need to get the, we need to establish a link between the chatbot and the API. So how do we do it? To do this, we on the webhooks here, because we it must be on to send requests to the URL. So we need to keep it on. Yeah, so now we need to write, I've used Python code to create a link between the chatbot and the API. So to extract the information from the API and return the required information to the chatbot again. So it's done in IBM Cloud Functions. So here in the actions section, I need to create one. And then when I create one, it is going to be appeared here. When you click on it, you can find an environment where you can type in your code to retrieve the information from the API and return your information that you want. So for now, I'll show you an example. So this is the example, like the Python code, which is used to retrieve the information about the confirmed cases of a state in a particular day from this API. So we first import the required libraries, and then in the function we pass in the parameter as dictionary. First, in the variable X, we get the data from this JSON file and store it in variable X, and then we convert, and then we use the .json function here to store the information in this variable in the JSON format. And in the question that the user gives in the chatbot, like cases in Telangana on this day. So from that question, we extract the state value and store it in this variable. And we extract the date value and store it in temp. And here we have to make changes to the date value, because in the API that we have, the date is in this format. It's like the half of month and then hyphen in between. So it is in this format. So, sorry. Yeah, so we need to convert whatever the user has given. We need to convert the format of the date into like the required format and store it in the variable S, and then iterate to the entire JSON file. And then if the date is matching with the date that we gave, we need to return the count of that particular state. So this is how we do the code in Python. Now, if I try it out and show it to you guys. So I said, I have just told cases in Telangana. So it has recognized my intent and that specific entity. And now if you observe clearly, I didn't give the date value. So it's asking me to enter the date. So I say 1st August 2020. So on 1st August 2020, the positive cases in Telangana on that particular day are 2083. So this is how you get the information. So you can use more than one API to get the information for your chatbot. Now I've used another API also to know which zone or district is in. So the district Krishna, which is present in Andhra Pradesh, it is in red zone. Like it is a red zone area. So this information also I've extracted it from the API. So this is the entire extraction part, you have to do it in your Python code, which is simple. And now I say thank you, and it says you're welcome. And this is the intent, the thank you intent that I gave. When it recognizes this particular intent, it gives this particular dialogue. So I say bye. So it says bye, stay home and stay safe. So this is how you create a chatbot. And there are many applications for this. You can integrate it in your website or mobile app. So there are many things that you can do with it and add your own creativity and create create a good chatbot useful for the society. So yeah, that's it. Thank you, sir.
Very good, Manaswini. It's wonderful presentation. And dear participants, contest, you can develop chatbot on any platform or any subject, but you have to use this IndianServers logo on the first screen of your chatbot. Okay, and create at least 2 minutes of video, post, ask different type of questions to your chatbot, get responses, capture that particular chatbot video and upload in your LinkedIn or Instagram or in Facebook. And we're going to create a Google Sheet. Now, if you refresh this particular page, this same video, you can find 2 links. One is attendance sheet. The other one is chatbot contest. Tomorrow, we're going to explain about OpenCV, and you have to develop some OpenCV projects also. Today, just work with some different kind of chatbots, including Watson or your own library, whatever you want to use. You can use your own libraries or your own other platforms also. Please develop some chatbots and upload in your LinkedIn or your Facebook or in your Instagram accounts. Post that link in the mentioned Google form. And restrictions are you have to add IndianServers logo in the first intent. Second, you have to add some hashtags so that we'll get notifications when you upload those bots. Results will be declared on August 15th, Independence Day. Okay. So thank you, friends. Thank you for joining. Tomorrow's session link is also provided in the same description. Please don't forget to join tomorrow. And we have provided some WhatsApp groups also. Please join one of the WhatsApp groups. Thank you, Manashwini and Harshavardhan and Vishwanath and a few more presenters today, especially Monica Singal. Monica's presentation is also fantastic one. She completely used her own Python code. So Monica, a very good presentation from your side. And Harshavardhan, thank you for teaching us IBM Watson. And Vishwanath, thank you for teaching the basics of neural networks. What is neural network? Thank you, Vishwanath, you also. So thank you all participants for joining today's session. Ending today's session. See you tomorrow, exactly 10 o'clock. Tomorrow we are going to discuss Keras, OpenCV. These are the 2 concepts what we are going to discuss. Thank you for joining. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.